All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Dr. Stone, Season 1, Episode 6. All right.
Senku is alive.
Senku's alive.
And Tsukasa thinks he's dead.
Yes, and we made it work. Senku brilliantly made it work, but he not only used his own brain for this, he used his friend's brains for this.
That's right. He depended on his Nakama, and
Indeed.
It paid off.
It paid off super well.
Oh, yeah.
Now, within this current situation, though, they jumped back into the past.
Right.
A current situation.
Well,
they jumped back into the past to showcase how he basically got himself prepped for survival, basic needs, and what have you.
Before Taiju showed up, which was really cool.
Right. Now,
but they pretty much got it caught up on that, so now we're probably back to the present.
Well, we didn't show him awakening anyone, so that's something that, at the very least, they're either going to jump back to the present and just showcase things from here on out, and they either trickle in more things from the past in later episodes.
Well, they have that other character that was shown because we've established that there are other humans that are conscious and out of the petrified state. So now that Tsukasa thinks that Senku's dead and will probably leave them alone, maybe they could then find them and start a colony or something. Or
I think we're eventually very soon going to get into basically the civilization building kind of story, where we're going to have communities forming and also the decision of, okay, now who do we wake up? When do we wake them up?
Yeah.
Well, also,
how do we manage resources?
How do we get a sustainable source of stuff to make sure that they can be woken up?
Especially since
the easier answer combination is no longer available to them. Right.
They'll need to find out some equivalent, which they probably could eventually, just find another place, another cave with a bunch of bats,
Well, right. They have the ability to make the stuff. Like, he knows how to make it. It's just a question of
supply.
Yeah. Like getting another supply and then figuring that whole thing out.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, here we go. Senku, this is your stage now.
Yeah.
Let's see what he does next. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion.
Taiju, don't shout. Senku!
Like, I understand you're alive, oh my god, but yes, I must say goodbye to my Nakama.
So I'm going to go onto this cliff where my voice will carry for a very long way.
Where there are, no humans out there to make noise. Have you been in the forest when it's, really quiet?
Yeah.
When there's, no animals around and stuff? Now, there are animals around in this world and what have you, but...
Well, and that specifically he shouts his name.
Yeah, it's just there are levels of stupid. But it's okay.
But
it's okay.
A One Piece reference,
A One Piece reference made it into Dr. Stone.
Yep.
Now, I think that it transcends One Piece in that the meaning of that has so much more just independently. I would know exactly what that meant, regardless of whether or not I had seen or read One Piece.
But let's be real. Taiju is definitely the kind of earnest good boy that would absolutely read One Piece and get super into it.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So, headcanon, it's a One Piece reference.
Yeah.
And Senku knows it.
He knows it for sure. We have ourselves a little bit more of an understanding, though, of where Senku's mind is at regarding how this whole thing originated, though.
Yeah.
So one of the questions that we always thought was okay, obviously there was something or someone intelligent behind this because of the fact that the sparrows were hit first and then humans were hit.
Yep.
And then it didn't hit anything else.
Right.
The fact that it hit two different species, completely different, biological makeup.
And
only those two.
Yeah.
Tons of other species still unaffected.
The alien thing, that could be it.
But that seems a little bit too campy.
Right. Well, I mean, the whole world, the human race is petrified, so it's in the realm of at least crazy things happening.
Right. That's the thing that he casually just threw out there as a theory.
Right, exactly. And that's probably the one thing that I could see where it's something where it would make sense that nothing has been changed really, because it's just sort of like, okay, glass this planet essentially and then move on. But if it was something where like, okay, if someone else did it, one, are they still out there? Because the world's a big place, right? For all we know, we might think the world is completely like, you know, devoid of people, but maybe actually the people who did it, they did manage to keep it from happening to them, you know, or something like that.
The only way, though, and that's the thing I was literally going to bring up, if it is a who, I'm going to throw out there it's not aliens. It's not aliens. It's less interesting if it's aliens.
Yep, totally.
But if it is a person, the way they would have to be doing it is they would have to be smart enough to know what it's going to do. And then they would know that it would hit the scope of the whole world. So therefore they have to be like in space. Like, or
have some sort of mechanism set up so that they know what would reverse the process and have that either be done automatically or have some sort of pre-inoculation or something that will make them immune.
Right. There's two basically things here. This is basically the show Lost in a lot of ways did stuff like this. You're either underground or you're basically not, you know, human or what have you. There's my thoughts about the kind of the bunker situation from Lost. And I think that would be very cool to have a team of scientists or a team of humans or what have you that basically
seal themselves off.
It's the whole arc thing, you know. It's they went underground, did all that, and it's fine. But I do like the idea of the distribution method having to come from space via some kind of like satellite thing or what have you. Because I would assume to have it be some kind of technological thing that's not just a biological thing. That's why he probably came up with viruses. So I almost see it as like a combination of all three.
Something that would attack humans and sparrows specifically. First sparrows as a test.
Sparrows as the test, obviously, and then humans next. But like literally, you could combine all three of those things and have it actually work. So the aliens is the distribution method. It has to come from space to be something that could hit the whole planet, basically. The next thing is it's a super weapon of some kind. Well, that's obviously just saying it's a crazy amount of human technology.
Right, would have to go into something like this.
Right, and then the other thing is that there's a virus bit, is that there's a biological component to it, meaning that it came from rather smart humans that know a lot about our own biology. So my thing is it's humans. Because Senku brought this up, I'm like, it's going to be something tied to those, but not actually any of those. It's going to be humans that are smart humans that know about the biology of things. There's some kind of biological component to it that we'll learn the rules of eventually. And it was probably distributed via space or some kind of underground bunker type like situation where you can just hit everything. Otherwise, it kind of seems a bit ridiculous that it hits the whole world, you know? That would be a fun twist, is that it didn't hit the whole world, but anyway. Theories aside, we ended up getting a little bit more caught up to the present with the really cool moment where Senku and Taiju, you know, are both kind of like in that kind of past and present thing, calling to each other to wake them up because I'm hopeless without you. But that idea of I'm hopeless without you.
Right. It's something that I would expect Taiju to say. It's not something I would expect Senku to say. And that's really cool that he said it.
But because of his backstory, we know it's true. We know it's true. But this is coming from the same guy then that has a plan to split them up. That's the point of this episode, is that he's basically saying, I'm hopeless without you. But it's not necessarily I'm hopeless without you being physically nearby me. It's like I'm hopeless without, I can't do this whole thing without you.
Right.
So the fact that then Senku's plan is, I need you to split up, showcases how ridiculously important Taiju and Yuzuriha are going to be in the story moving forward, and how much he trusts them to be able to be in Tsukasa's
and like
group.
We already knew that he trusted them just from the previous episode, and the fact that he trusted them to revive him, to figure it out and everything, even if that's not necessarily their forte, right?
Like he had to.
He had to.
Yeah.
So there you go. And we got all that, and we got a lot of wholesome goodness and Nakama everything and good feelsy stuff. I love that originally Taiju is just sort of walking away, and Yuzuri has like, wow, you know, you guys are really stoic and everything. And he's like, yep, yeah. I mean, it just means that, you know, we won't be able to see each other for a few days, weeks, months, or
Yeah.
Like, that was... It's one of those things where you can see it coming from like a mile away, you know?
Right.
But it's like, yep, all right, here we go. When did the waterworks start, right?
Right. And then they, of course, hit us with the raised fist. Now, it's not it's not him looking backwards or anything.
Yeah,
like,
and he didn't like, draw on his arm an X or something like that. But I'll take it.
I'll take it. It's good. I mean, like, I would use that signal as well, regardless if I had, gone through the Alabasta arc of One Piece.
Right.
But like, literally, that moment is probably going to be a moment that he'll think back on, Senku specifically.
Sure.
Think back on realizing that he has to keep going when it gets really tough because those two out there are relying on him just as much as he's relying on them.
Yeah.
So I like the idea now also of having a perspective protagonist combo.
Sure.
In the bad guys camp.
And it's because
like, why else would we spend time there if not to just kind of pull out and go third person omniscient? But then you could show all kinds of other things. And I don't feel like this show is that type of show.
Well, and let's face it, it'll make the times that they have Tsukasa, like they have us seeing what Tsukasa's up to, way more interesting, because before it was something where at least Tsukasa's hunting them, right? So there's a tension aspect of, will this Aztec god of fitness catch up to them and slaughter them all, right? But now, what reason would we have to keep up with Tsukasa? And the way I was thinking it would end up being from the previous episode, because they had essentially gotten away, and he thought that Senku was dead, is... okay, cool. Maybe we'll see him later, and like 10 episodes go by or something, and they do all their stuff, and then they go back to deal with the Tsukasa problem.
Yeah, and there's
now
a couple hundred of them.
Yeah, and then we kind of see where they're at now, right? But this is much like...
we'll show the progress a little bit on each side.
Yeah, and we have an actual reason to do that, because if it was just Tsukasa on his own, unless they were building up for Tsukasa to be doing something specific that would harm the others, which he's probably not going to, because he doesn't have to worry about Taiju and Yuzuriha and Senku's dead.
Yes, exactly.
So what's the deal?
Right.
But now, and now there will also be the tension of Taiju being such an earnest boy, knowing that Senku's alive. I'm not sure how good of a liar he is, but I could see there being... even if he does a great job and doesn't actually let the secret be revealed, it's at least another point of tension in that they have a secret that they need to keep Tsukasa from ever finding out. Because if he does, it's a problem.
Something tells me, though, that given Taiju being an earnest boy, protecting Yuzuriha basically allows him to tap into his own levels of superhumanness.
Because he'll be focusing on something other than the fact that Senku's alive.
Yes, exactly.
Like, if it was just Taiju, I could imagine it would be so difficult.
So much more difficult.
It'd be like impossible, right?
Right.
But because he's going to be like, no, I need to protect Yuzuriha. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Senku, he's out there, but protect her. Yeah.
Right. And in some ways, what I think that's really brilliant about this plan for Senku here is that we don't know what he whispered to Yuzuriha, and she mentioned them going back there, which means that's not part of the secret.
Yeah.
The secret is actually what they do or how they do certain things.
Yep.
Which is not going to be, I need you to kill, Tsukasa.
I mean, if they manage to poison him or something like that, maybe, but yeah,
but in terms of craftiness, that was the thing that they mentioned. That Senku mentioned, was that Yuzuriha is the skilled one of the group. She has the actual how to kind of knowledge. Like,
she
the
can execute
thinking
on things in a delicate way that Taiju absolutely would not be able to, and that's probably why they made sure that he doesn't know.
Right, but the idea of having it be skills rather than the idea of being like subtlety or something, because I almost want to think about this as he's going to need her to make something. And he basically just told her how.
Sure.
When he whispered to her. And then whatever the thing that's going to need to be made, it's something that she's going to have the capacity to do with not only the skills that she has.
Sure.
Because I'm sure that she's not like necessarily like full logical like Senku. It's more that she's like good at applying like
yeah, we'll see exactly what it means.
Right. But like something applying that knowledge, almost like wisdom, but like just working with their hands or what have you.
There's a part of me that would think that maybe it's something where it's an element of sabotage, except that then it would be sending them into danger.
Yeah, I don't think it's sabotage.
Yeah, so it's probably not something like that, which makes me really curious. Like, is it just because it's not just observation either, because that's what they told Taiju, and Taiju doesn't know everything, which is another element of conflict and tension,
right? Because
then will Taiju figure it out? Because if he figures it out, he might not be able to keep it a secret, right?
Right,
and then they would really be in danger.
Yeah, that's why I think it's going to be something regarding the lines that any good spy needs is communication. They need some way to be able to relay info back to home base in a way that is quiet, subtle.
Yeah,
no one will notice.
You can't exactly do smoke signals,
No, you can't do that, and you probably can't just necessarily do some kind of like mirror light kind of sun kind of thing, because that would be a bit crazy. So maybe that's what it is. Senku has encountered now Kohaku, as well as Tsukasa encountering her. She is born in this stone world and has all the dexterity and I would say the strength of someone that has had to physically hunt for their survival.
Well, also she's not in the Stone Age. Now, I could be wrong because
that was metal,
but that looked like metal. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a really big deal.
It could be just really, really well, done or what have you. But I'm going to go on a limb with you, and I agree. It is some kind of metal, and Tsukasa had a big dumb in that he did not actually take her weapons, her knives.
Well, and I mean, he could do just fine with the weapons he has. He can shatter 1-ton trees and all that stuff.
Right. But his main priority is getting the miracle water revival fluid.
Exactly.
And then probably going straight to her encampment, which he should be able to then just go and track her. Well, like reverse track her to wherever she came from.
Yeah, he knows that they're nearby because she was over there, right? And he thinks she's dead, so he's like, okay, this shouldn't be too big of an issue. But
if he does that, if he wants to pick up her trail, right? He's probably going to come right back here, see the pulley system, unless Senku and her dismantle everything, get it out of there, and then we just see a bit where the tree basically dropped from up here down, left an impact crater.
Right. Well, and then all that it would be that there would be parts of it that had been cut off, but he could theoretically
piece together kind of what happened.
Well, he could either piece together what happened, and he definitely has done stuff like that before, but it could also be something where he thinks that some people from her village helped her. He doesn't see the pulley system, and he just sees that parts of the tree had been like cut up and things like that. Then he could theoretically be like, oh, maybe there's others and they helped her, right? Because if it's long enough, then there shouldn't be much of a trail to go on. Right, because of just animals and things like that and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I don't think we've seen him actually do any hardcore tracking.
Well, I mean,
no, I don't think we've seen him do that yet. So that'll be something.
Right. He was more of like deducing what their intent was, and then,
based on location. So he has a decent, I would say, knowledge of the locations in Japan. So if anything, he probably also has a good memory and probably some areas where he'll have just some basic mental aptitude to figure these things out. So what I think will end up happening is Senku will get to her people first. Tsukasa will be on his way, and Senku will basically be like, we need to leave.
Yeah.
Because there's a guy that's going to be coming here eventually.
And he's a god.
And he is a demigod yes, he is a problem.
I will say, though, as far as resource gathering, because that is a very real thing in this situation, right? The miracle water and all that stuff. The fact that Kohaku has metal weapons, what can Senku do with metal? Like,
whatever the process was, also that, like made those.
Right. Like, and yeah, exactly. But
is there a colony out there that's existed for hundreds of years? Like,
yeah, exactly. Because what generation is she? If they have metal weapons, it's probably been a while.
It's probably been a long while.
And he has a bit of gunpowder left. He could make guns if he has metal. There you go. It wouldn't be anything super,
super ridiculous,
super refined. And granted, early muskets and things like that were worse than bows and arrows in a lot of ways, but that's still something. I don't think Tsukasa would be able to catch a bullet. He'd probably be able to dodge it, maybe, but who knows, right? It's something.
Right. So we've got ourselves a situation where we're probably going to be meeting a lot of people that have been revived. how they were revived, all that situation.
Yep.
The mystery continues to unfold little by little.
Yeah.
Kohaku has this very matter-of-fact kind of personality. So I wonder if, in some ways, there's someone in their group that is intelligent, but it's something where either there was someone in their group that was really intelligent that helped move them along, and they just
make
died
them out
off.
of weapons or things like that.
Right. They basically helped kickstart their own civilization.
Right, because who knows?
They had kids who had kids who had kids.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, because who knows how long they've been around, and, you know, and so they're, right. Humanity would still progress, even if it would be very, very slow.
Right. I just get excited about this because what she got attracted to, essentially, was not his intelligence, but the determination by which he attacked the problem and solved it, because this process took a whole day, basically.
Yes.
It took a long time for her to be saved through the pulley system being made.
I will say, though, as far, like, because up till now, we've seen Senku be very smart, right? And it's great. But in a lot of ways, because of Tsukasa, we haven't really been able to showcase just how smart Senku is compared to regular people, because the things that he can do were always measured up to the demigod, right? So it's like, yeah, you build...
Or against himself.
Sure, but like you build a crossbow. Awesome. A crossbow in this, you know, day and age, that's insane.
That's ridiculous.
That is insane. Just that alone would make you be able to do all kinds of things, right? But against Tsukasa, it's like, yeah, he just catches the bolt, right? You know, and, okay. But if Senku is going to go into a village of people, who, you know, however big it is, you know, maybe it's just like 20 people, you know, exactly. It might be next to nobody, but people that are used to just this way of life, right? They're not first generation, right? It will. I'm curious.
There are going to be a lot of you know?
like I mean, her reaction. You know, granted, he had also used it to save her, but her reaction was none too subtle, right? Of wow. So that is something that we'll probably see a lot of once Senku is introduced to them.
Yeah, and the next episode is something like, where did the last 2 million years go, or something? Which, wait, we're getting into basically some aspect of human evolution.
I don't know.
What have you?
I don't know.
All right, well, y'all, I guess we'll find out in the next episode, but if you want to see that next episode's reaction and discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jake about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep, so I wrote a book. It's a sci-fi novel, and it's really cool. It's called Battle Lines. If you're interested, it's on Amazon, link in the description below. Go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.